Are you drowning in AI subscriptions? Maybe you have 4 or 5 just for AI image generations, another one for upscaling, maybe one for editing, and another one for your mockups. If you're anything like me, then this is probably true. And in this video, I'm going to be testing one program to see if it can replace all of that, save you money, and get you some designs that are ready to list faster. I am the owner of Bailey Design Co., a 7-figure digital design shop on Etsy, and I now teach others how to create the same types of shops on this YouTube channel and in my online community, the AI Design and Grow Club. So your current tech stack might look something like this. You might have something like Ideogram. You're using DALL-E 3 in a platform or maybe in ChatGPT. You have some type of AI mockup app, and then probably Photoshop and Canva as well. At this point, my AI tool bill is ridiculous, far exceeding my streaming subscription services and even my Starbucks bill. So here's the lineup of the tools that I'm going to be testing today. We're going to be looking at Ideogram, specifically version 3, just because historically it's always done the best for me with text heavy graphic design. We're also going to look at DALL-E 3 just because this has been my favorite and actually has sold the most amount of my designs on my shop. Next are two relatively new tools, and that is Seedream, and the other one is the new Nano Banana. And I tried Nano Banana earlier. I was really liking it, but I haven't gotten a chance to compare it to the new Seedream. So a couple rules for this test. I'm going to use the exact same prompt in the 4 different AI image generation tools, though they are all within the same platform. So whether you choose to use one or the other, they're going to be in there regardless. I'm also using a platform that has the ability to upscale directly within the editor, do any type of editing, and also save at a high enough quality that I can just list it to Etsy right away without needing to do any further editing or upscaling. I also want to be able to use a tool where I can upload my own mockups so that I am not just left with basic and generic mockups that don't convert. So the tool that has recently added the new AI image generators, Nano Banana and Seedream, is in Kittl. This has always been one of my favorite designs tools just because it has the ability to save at 300 DPI, and it also has a built-in upscaler. So I'm not needing to take my designs out of here, move them into an external upscaler, and I don't need to increase the quality elsewhere because it has a built-in image optimizer. So the first step is just to create a new canvas. So I'm just clicking on new project, and here I'm just changing that DPI to 300. And so as you can see, that will automatically change it to 5,000 by 5,000 pixels, which is what I usually create my individual PNG designs at. Then I'm just clicking on create, and I have my artboard ready to go here. Now, all of the prompts for the products that I'm going to be using today are all actively trending on Etsy right now. They are super popular, but they are not necessarily very easy to create. This first one is a coquette type of a style that is made into a Nerth stethoscope, which in my experience has been really difficult for me to create. So I wanted to test this one out first. So over here in Kittl, I'm just clicking on the Kittl AI, which is this little star icon right here. And this is what brings up all of the AI image generators. So it's already selected to Seedream up here, but I'm going to move down in this order so that we can compare them. So the first one that I would usually use is Ideogram 3. So I'm just clicking on that and then pasting in my prompt and clicking generate image. Okay, so honestly, this one isn't bad compared to some of the results that I've gotten from Ideogram before. It's not necessarily in the style that I would like it to if I were actually going to sell this one. But what I mean is the stethoscope didn't necessarily like mess up and make it look like all wonky. And so we'll just go ahead and compare this. So to remove the background, you just click on remove background up here. And then if I were actually going to save and use this one, I would also click on the upscale right here just to make sure it's optimized and good enough to actually sell. So moving on down the row, the next one is the Nano Banana. And like I said, I really liked what I saw with this when I tested it out a bit ago. But I was really primarily testing it for more of like lifestyle images and mock-ups. So this is going to be interesting to see what it does in terms of like more clip art and PNG style. So this looks pretty good. Honestly, it's really realistic looking. The stethoscope looks right. Though it might be connected a little bit weird here because it should just be going like this unless it's looping through. I'm not really sure. But anyway, we'll keep it for our comparison purposes. And the next one is going to be one that I have not tried at all, and that is the Seedream. So I've heard good things about this in terms of like text being done really well, and same thing for the Nano Banana. Obviously, these two don't have anything with text, but I do have some examples coming up that are pretty difficult in terms of text. So we'll be able to see what those ones do. So this is the Seedream one, and I'm honestly surprised at this. Like, I think this is probably my favorite one just because it doesn't have any weird continuation of the actual stethoscope because it could be looping through there, though it's a little bit, I'm thinking it was too long, but this looks about right. So the final one has been my historic favorite, which is DALL-E 3. So we'll move on to that one and see if it can do anything better. Okay, and it gave us a really cute looking bow. I like that, but this is like a stethoscope for a baby, so it really wouldn't work just because it made it all short down here. But overall, I mean, this looks right. It's just, it wouldn't be usable if you were actually trying to make it look like a real stethoscope like some of these ones did. This one actually, now that I think about it, works okay just because this could be looping around, but in my opinion, this is the best one. So that would be that the Seedream is the one that actually won this round. So this next one is a Thanksgiving type of a prompt. It is a text prompt, but it's a very specific type of style. It's one that we actually did earlier this week in the AI Design and Grow Club, but I wanted to use this as an example because I don't actually put Seedream or Nano Banana results in there yet, but I think I might be changing my mind. So this is a good way for me to test and see if it would be something that I need to add. So it is a Gobble Thanksgiving type of a prompt. So this is really cute. And this is what I mean about the very particular type of style of the letters. So it's not really like a script or like handwritten type of a font. It's actual like doodle letters with prints and patterns in them. And this has been really difficult to do with most AI image generators. Ideogram did it here perfectly on the first try. So that one will go up there. Okay, so next was Nano Banana, and no spelling issues. This one is pretty cute. I like it a lot. I like how all of the letters stayed with the leopard pattern. They put the bow up here. And all of the little placement of the like leaves and flowers, acorns, things like that, all of it looks like really well placed though. Ideograms did look nice as well. I just don't like the bow on top of like just hovering above the turkey like that. So I'm liking this Nano Banana version better so far. Okay, so here is the Seedream result. So I really like this stacked letter effect. This is kind of what I was going for, though it might not have been as clear in the prompt as I could have made it. And by the way, too, if you do want access to all of these prompts, as you can see, they are all really long and detailed. In order for you to copy and paste and use them, then just be sure to comment the word nano down in the comments, just using the word nano, because I've used the word prompt before and I don't want this list to get mixed up. So this one is by far my favorite. Super cute, super unique as far as the layout goes. So again, this one might be going to Seedream. Okay, so here is DALL-E 3's version. Definitely not usable at all. It kind of got a little bit confused up here, but this is pretty standard for DALL-E 3 when it gets this detailed as far as text type of graphic designs. I like that it did like the plaid pattern with the leopard print bow and just the stacked layout again. However, you wouldn't be able to really edit this and get the letters to be usable. So again, Seedream is going to win this round. Okay, so this next prompt is for another type of coquette bow, specifically for the sport of football. However, it's a really glittery type of effect that I'm looking for. If you've been doing any research on Etsy, you'll know that the coquette is really popular, but making the item look really iridescent and shimmery, or rather the design, has been really popular, but also really difficult to do without the use of something like Photoshop. And so I wanted to test it with any of these image generators to see if we could get a really sparkly effect. So this first one is, of course, with Ideogram. And while it is sparkly, like it looks glittery, it doesn't have like an actual glitter type of effect or iridescent factor. Okay, so here is Nano Bananas. And I like this one. It's different than some of the coquette bows that I've seen. It looks like a little bit more like a cheerleader bow. And the glitter does look a little bit more sparkly, or more realistic, I should say, than the Ideogram version. Okay, so here is the Seedream result. Not liking this one. It just like looks really, really realistic. Even when I remove the background, it doesn't look like a PNG graphic that you would want on a t-shirt, just because it looks like an actual bow. I could probably edit that prompt to make it more flat, add in the keywords watercolor to make it not look as realistic, remove things like 3D if I had it in there, or realistic, and that would probably get rid of that effect on the Seedream output. Okay, so this next one is my favorite for sure, just because it looks like the type of PNG graphics that are currently selling on Etsy for this type of keyword. And so this was the DALL-E 3 version, and it's usually really good with like the coquette bows. As far as my experience, you can see how good the glitter looks, and it's just laid it out really cutely. So I was hoping to go, all for one with the Seedream. Maybe was going to be my new favorite, but DALL-E definitely did what it's known for as far as with bows anyway. And so that is my pick for this round. Okay, so moving on to the final two that have text with them. And I will say the last one is definitely the most detailed and the hardest of all of them as far as text, so do be sure to stick around just for that one. This one is relatively easy. It is a Christian design. We recently did this one in the design group, but I did not, again, test it with some of these. So this is the Ideogram output, so really cute design. As far as following the prompt, there's no issues with the text. There wouldn't be any issues with background removal on this one, just because there's not a lot of watercolor types of splashes. But you would have to be careful with that Walk by Faith, just because it's in white, depending on what color of a background that you're going to put it on. So if you were mocking this up or needed to be on a shirt, you would want to make sure that you're keeping the color of the shirt in mind, just due to that text being in white. Okay, so here is the Nano Banana one. Again, this one is actually pretty similar to the Ideogram. Let me go ahead and remove the background, and I'll put color on the back of this in just a moment so that we can see what they would look like with a shirt. And then if I choose one of these ones to mock up, we'll be able to see how it really looks on something. But I do actually like this one better than Ideogram, just because of the cross here in the background compared to this one. This was a little bit of a random type of a cross that they did, it being off to the side and with like some stars and stuff in it. The placement just looks better and matches better with this Nano output. Okay, so this one did not work out well, just because it's not like isolated where you could use it specifically for a t-shirt, which is what most of these are used for, or if you're using this for print on demand, just because it has there was nothing isolated. So we'll be able to see in just a moment. Let me just go ahead and add a background color on here. You can see that it didn't do very well with removing either. It removed all of the text, so that would not work. But these ones still did a good job with keeping it, even though it was same type of situation. So I'm not sure why it removed it on this Seedream one. Okay, so in true DALL-E 3 fashion, this one did a random collage, didn't really place it together the way that the prompt had it. So we have the text Walk by Faith. While it did spell it all right, this just wouldn't look very good as a t-shirt with the cross hanging off like that, and then random like little crosses hanging off of it. And it's definitely, the boots are way cuter than some of the other ones. It does do a good job with cowboy boots from what I've seen, but this layout overall just wouldn't work. Okay, so this next one is a really detailed prompt with text that was getting a little confusing as far as the placement of wanting some of it up top and some of it on the bottom, and having a rather detailed subject as well. And so I'm really interested to see what this will do. So it is, if I ever get rabies, you're on my bite list with leopard print and grunge, and then a really mean looking raccoon. You could definitely switch this animal out for anything that, if they generally get rabies, it would make sense to use, but this would be a really funny t-shirt design. And so this is the ideogram version. So it did exactly how I wanted it laid out, with part of the text up here and the rest down here. Okay, so here is the Nano Banana output, and it spelled everything right, and it did a really, really unique layout. So you can see, if I ever get rabies, there's like some little grunge leopard print in here, which I have that included in the prompt. And then it has like the retro checkered, and then some different like leopard print and floral patterns down here, but it looks really, really good. It all matches really well. Not sure that I like that it left the raccoon like completely just like white and black. Just depending on what that will do when you hit remove background. Actually, it removed it really well. So it's gray enough so it would work. So this one actually is a lot different than this one, as you can see, as far as the layout. It just has a way more unique type of quality. Okay, and here is the Seedream one. And again, a really different, unique layout as far as putting everything out there. Everything is spelled right. And I like that the little leopard is here, checkered here. I really am liking how it did this type of font in the really like grungy handwritten type, and it matches up here as well. So I think this one is really good too. This one is going to be hard to decide which one I like the best or which one would win this one. So let's finish up with the Dolly 3 and see if it can top that, but highly doubtful as it's a lot of words for Dolly 3. Okay, and so here is the Dolly 3 output. It got most of it right. So I put the rabies down here. It even spelled like you are on my bite list correct. It just messed up here. So this could easily be erased and filled in, but it's kind of the purple. We'll see when we remove the background to see what that actually does. But I like how like the checkered, actually that would work. I would rather it had not had the purple around there, just because it is a good layout. It is comparable to the ideogram layout though, but this could be easily fixed. But I think for this round, honestly, this one is gonna win it for me just because I like the square compared to the circle. That's really the only difference. But it actually means that the Seedream is the winner, which is something I did not expect at all, having never tried the Seedream AI generator. So now let me show you how easy it is to go ahead and mock this up in here so that you aren't needing to move to another platform, upscaler, or mock-up generator. So first I'm just going to take the one that I chose and I just dragged it all the way to fit the entire artboard. I already did remove the background. So now I'm just clicking on upscale. So Kittl already has a built-in upscaler, so I don't need to worry about going to another platform and upscaling it. Next, I'm just going up here to this export, and then I'm just gonna click on remove background just to make sure that that is checked so I don't get it with a white background, and optimize quality, and that is it. Then I'm just clicking download. So next, I'm just coming over here to my uploads, which is right here. Click upload, and then I'm going to hit upload to upload my upscaled background remove raccoon back into Kittl. So once my image is back in here in Kittl under my uploads, normally I would have a different folder set up for this, but I just added a new mockup for this. So it'll show wherever you upload it or within an individual folder if you are more organized and set up your mockups that way. As you can see, I have mockups all over the place in here. So the important thing with this is we want to make sure that we're using high quality, trendy mockups. Otherwise, it's best just to stretch the design out on a white background and upload it directly as your main listing photo, because the mockup can really make or break the design. Even if the design is super great, if the mockup is not really high quality and trendy in nature, then it doesn't really do the design any good. So when I say trendy mockups, these are all over on Etsy. So if you were to go just type in trendy mockup, for example, you're going to get lots of ones like these, and you can just easily upload them to your Kittl account. So I've just stretched it out basically to about right there. I kind of want to still get this part of the mockup in there, just because it's kind of funny in general, implying that she's, you know, a relatively cranky person. And then added the mockup. So just by clicking the image over here, drag that over here, and then I'm just going to basically fill it out so it fits the entire part of the print area, and then kind of just zoom it down. I also like to tone down the transparency just a bit on these, just so it looks like really realistic. You have a layer over here, and you can just kind of take it all the way down, which you don't want to do. But I just want to lighten it up and try to get it probably around the about 90% mark is where it looks really realistic on here, and how it would actually print out, whether you are using a print-on-demand supplier or if you were making it yourself. Once it's placed how it needs to be, the next step is just to download this. So you can leave the remove background off. This whole thing, it doesn't matter. It's just all the same image, but I do leave the optimized quality turned on, and then click download. And that is really it. So as you can see, I was able to quickly create several different variations of PNG designs all within one tool, then edit it if I needed to, which actually I didn't need to edit anything, as well as remove the background and upscale it to a high enough quality, and then also mock it up. As you can see here in Kittl, they have over 13 different AI image generators built in that you are able to use. So at this point, it's not really a necessity needing to be having a separate ideogram account, or maybe using DALL-E 3 over in ChatGPT, which is what I used to do, because it's all just built into the same Kittl platform. Now, there's some of these that I haven't even tried before, like the Google Imagen number 4. Flux, I've tried several times. I'm just not really a fan of the Flux model, though I'm sure it has its purposes. So just the fact that Nano Banana and Seedream, my new favorite, as it obviously won the contest here with the best outputs in my opinion, as far as uniqueness and spelling and just overall layout, makes it just a really easy choice to keep everything as much as possible all within one tool. There will be a link to try out Kittl down in the description below. And again, if you do want access to all of these prompts, just be sure to type in the word nano, and we'll be sure to send you over that link. As always, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.